Welcome back, sports fans, to a special edition of Sports Talk is McKimmie. And, of course, we are getting ready this weekend, Mike. We got the NFC Championship. We got the AFC Championship. Two big games this week for an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. We got the Arizona Cardinals going to the Carolina Panthers and the New England Patriots going to the Denver Broncos for a chance for a trip to the Super Bowl. And we're here to make our picks, Mike. You bet. Who you picking?
I am picking, Dave. Looking at the NFC Championship game first. All right. Carolina has won 21 of their last 23 games. I'm going with them. I'm going with Cam Newton. There's not a better player in the league right now. We're looking at Carson Newman,
Carson
Palmer, I'm sorry. Got a monkey off his back last week. But I think that Cam Newton, I think he comes through, and I'm looking at 28-17 Carolina. Carolina gets the NFC spot in the Super Bowl.
All right, well, we got Arizona at Carolina. And, Mike, I'm actually going to go the opposite this week. I'm going to actually pick the road team. I really feel that Carson Palmer, after finally getting his first playoff victory, is going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. And I think Arizona, there's just something about him this year. Larry Fitzgerald, Carson Palmer, finally eliminating his turnovers. Coming back after that crazy game last week with the Cardinals and the Packers that...
Dave, you can make an argument that Larry Fitzgerald is the greatest wide receiver in postseason history at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Larry Fitzgerald in the playoffs, Mike, he delivers. Of course, who could forget the run he did with Kurt Warner a couple years ago that took him to the Super Bowl where they were basically 2 minutes away from a championship. Larry Fitzgerald just a huge game last week. And going into the season, last couple of seasons, he's been hurt. He hasn't been able to play a full season. This season just came back strong. And just some of the plays he made down the stretch, I really feel that Carson Palmer and the Arizona Cardinals, after having a couple years working in that system, I really think they're going to pull off a major upset this weekend.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. Larry Fitzgerald was amazing, especially in overtime last week. Really pulled through. Let's look at the AFC. I'm going to stay again with the home team. I think you and I, again, are at odds here. But I'm going to go with Denver. I think it's going to be a Denver Broncos, Carolina Panthers Super Bowl. When we look at the postseason history of Brady versus Manning, they're even. They're 3-3. This is the rubber game. You know, who wins the series? And I think this might be the last one, considering that Peyton Manning, is 39 years old. But given the defense, given the home field advantage, and just given the fact that Tom Brady just doesn't have a lot of options on offense, I'm going to have to pick the Denver Broncos, and I'm going to say 24-20.
Well, Mike, and I'm actually going to disagree with you on the AFC, just like we did the NFC. To me, it's all about having someone's number. You look on the history of sports, the Chicago Bulls, they always had the New York Knicks number. For some reason, in the playoffs, Tom Brady, except for 1 year, has always had Peyton Manning's number. And I really feel going into the playoffs this year, even though the Patriots are struggling, they got a lot of injuries going on, but I really feel that it's just one of those things. Tom Brady has Peyton Manning's numbers, and Peyton Manning played a solid game last game.
They're 3-3. 3-3,
still, I think Tom Brady is going to pull this out. I really think, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots beat the Denver Broncos. I mean, Peyton Manning, who was out for so many weeks.
Dave, they haven't won a road game in the playoffs since 2007.
Well, it might be 2007, but I think it's going to be 2016, and they're going to win this week because I think Tom Brady, when it comes time playoffs, he's just a hard one for me to pick against. You know, you look at him, how many Super Bowls does he have, Mike?
4, I believe.
4 Super Bowls. How many does Peyton Manning have?
1.
All right, I just think when it comes down to it, Tom Brady is just going to be a tough one to beat this week. I think it's going to be a classic game. I think Bill Belichick, I think the system of the New England Patriots is what's going to make more the difference than Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning. The Denver Broncos barely beat a Pittsburgh team last week that was missing their leading receiver and leading rusher. The Bronco offense was just anemic, going over 20 quarters before they scored their first touchdown. I really feel that, you know, the New England Patriots, just the system of Bill Belichick, for me, that's just hard to pick against. I know we might disagree on this one, but I think it's going to be one heck of a game. And talk about a rivalry, no matter who wins or loses, Brady versus Manning. When you think about quarterbacking for the last 15 years, this is the top 2 quarterbacks, in my opinion, in the last 15 years for what could be the final meeting, and it's going to be one hell of a game, Mike.
Yeah, and you could make the point that that is your Super Bowl. But again, on the other hand, I think the NFC, you know, just might be the more stacked conference. But let's go to, we have a special guest tonight, Joey Softball Shaw. Joey,
Hi,
welcome
Mike.
to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Mike. Hi, Dave.
What are your picks in the NFC? Carolina versus Atlanta.
Arizona, Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I was thinking...
Joey is from the ATL, so I know that's why
threw me
we're
off.
having a little confusion on it. Joey used to bring it back in the days, back in the 1990s. Andre Rison and Jeff George, Bad Moon to Rison down in Atlanta. So,
okay, what you got? You got the Cardinals versus the Panthers. What are you thinking?
I gotta go Cardinals, Mike.
Okay, you're with Dave. Point spread, what do you think? How much are you going to beat them by?
Oh, Mike, I don't know on that. I guess any guess would be a good as any guess.
They're 3-point. Carolina is 3-point favorites, I believe, in this game.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say.
All right, let's go over to the AFC. Manning versus Brady. Broncos versus the New England Patriots. What do you got there? The New England Patriots are 3-point favorites.
I gotta pick New England.
All right, so we've got 2 New Englands and we've got 2 Arizonas. I'm the only one that is looking forward to a Carolina representative from the NFC and a Denver representative from the AFC. But you know what, Dave? Either way, it's going to be a heck of a matchup when we get 2 weeks from now and we get to the Super Bowl.
well, going into the playoffs, I think we're looking at 4 teams that they're the best teams in the NFL during the regular season. I know despite Denver having the issues they had at quarterback, we're really looking at the 4 best teams in the NFL playing in the conference finals here. It's going to be some great games. It's just going to be classic. And the Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning matchup, I think it's going to be epic. I really think it's going to go down to the wire. I really think the Carolina game, Carolina can beat Arizona if they can force Carson Palmer back into the turnover-prone quarterback that he's been for years.
And look at the weather to be a factor tomorrow in Carolina. Neither team is a cold weather team, but it's going to be cold, and there's going to be snow on the ground, and there is a field there that is in disarray. The middle of that field is going to be eaten up by the end of the first half. So that's going to be something to look at.
Well, Mike, if weather is a factor, Cam Newton's going to be hard to beat because unlike Carson Palmer, he can run the football. And if you have a quarterback that can run the football and throw it, that might be the difference in the bad weather. But I'm still going with Arizona. That's what my guts tell me. But I can tell you we are going to have 2 hell of a championship games tomorrow as we lead into the Super Bowl. And we'll be right back for another section here on Sports Talk is McKimmie.